Jim Harbaugh signs wide receiver Keenan Allen to a one-year deal. I think it's $8.52 million. And there's something going on with the Chargers that just feels like an alternate 49ers universe. I don't know how to explain it. You got like Navarro Bowman coaching out over there with a bunch of other guys. Obviously, Greg Roman's coaching over there. They have Trey Lance with Jim Harbaugh. And now they get Keenan Allen. Why is this even relatable to the San Francisco 49ers? Well, we do know that the San Francisco 49ers need some wide receiver help. That is why they released Andy Isabella after he got hurt yesterday in practice and signed Equanimeous St. Brown after they had just released him. It was actually one of the crazier scenes I've seen. I've never seen this before, where they announced the signing of Equanimeous, but he was nowhere to be found on the practice field today. And then about 40 minutes after the initial start of training camp practice, he showed up. And then he had to put himself through about a 20-minute stretching session and getting warm before he was able to hop into practice. So it was crystal clear that the 49ers were able to determine Andy Isabella got hurt in yesterday's practice. They had to make the quick decision to release him and re-sign Equanimeous St. Brown, who probably doesn't live in California, doesn't live in the Bay, had to hop on a flight and then get on a flight. He probably got in, went straight to the facility, and went straight to practice. And it was pretty wild to see play out. So the point being is, we know the 49ers have been dealing with injuries at wide receiver. Jacob Cowing is hurt. Juwan Jennings is hurt. So, and they've been shuffling through. Keenan Allen is a popular name. He's a guy that he's one of my all-time favorite players, Cal alumni. He's just one of my guys. He's always been one of my guys ever since he was a freshman at Cal. And so, the opportunity arose. The 49ers had a need at wide receiver, and, they could have had an option. From what I've heard through well-placed, agent connections, there was conversations that had occurred. To what extent, I don't know. What I heard is it came down to dollars and cents. And then I think when you see what Keenan Allen just signed for with the Chargers, I think it makes a little bit more sense why the 49ers probably didn't sign Keenan, just for the simple fact that, I don't know. I don't know what role Keenan would play with the 49ers with, a healthy Juwan Jennings, a healthy Ricky Pearsall, even a healthy Brandon Ayuk. What is he in that situation? Is he a wide receiver 4? Is he a wide receiver 3? For $8 million, probably doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think, that was one of my hesitations as well with the same kind of Amari Cooper situation. Does Amari Cooper become an option? And it doesn't feel like Amari Cooper's an option either, for the same reasons, because there's no guarantee that these veteran wide receivers are going to come in and get a guaranteed spot. And on top of that, they still $8.5 million is nothing to scoff at, for one season. So, I mean, I don't have Juwan's numbers in front of me currently, but I wouldn't imagine that Juwan is making too much more than Keenan right this second. So if they were to sign Keenan or Amari without paying Juwan, that would probably create an internal fracture with that situation. So I don't know. I would assume that the next best thing for the San Francisco 49ers is to get Jawan, and I'm assuming there's a bit of a contract situation going on there. Get that thing figured out. Get BA healthy. You know, Russell Gage has looked good. Demarcus Robinson has looked good. Jordan Watkins has had probably his best practice of the day today. So maybe you don't need to go after a guy like Keenan Allen, but man, it would have been fun. It would have been so fun to see Keenan Allen in red and gold. It was a dream of mine. I wanted him coming out of the draft. The 49ers passed on him 3 times. That was the moment for me that just broke any ties that I had to Trent Baalke, because I just couldn't handle that situation. Because again, like I said, Keenan Allen was my favorite player since he was a freshman at Cal. So it would have been cool. That part of me would have loved it, but I also understand why it probably didn't happen. You know, why talks didn't really push any further than they did, and it is what it is. So the 49ers seem kind of more content with adding fringe guys who can maybe push for a roster spot, maybe, because honestly, there's not a lot of room. So no Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen goes to the the alternate universe 49ers and the Chargers. And hey, it's a good story for him. He returns to the team that drafted him, and I'm sure a place where he has a lot of roots for playing for them for so long. It's a good situation for Keenan, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how the 49ers continue to navigate this wide receiver situation. Let me know what you think the 49ers should do. Should they keep trying to cycle through, your Robbie Chosens, your Equinemius St. Browns, your kind of fringe veteran guys? Do you think they should go all in with an Amari Cooper, understanding that there just might not be room, considering the fact you're going to have to roster Ayuk, Jennings, Pearsall, Watkins. I think Gage has done enough to earn the roster, but you got Demarcus Robinson as well, Cowing. I think that's the dilemma that the 49ers are currently up against. Not that they wouldn't like to have them. I think it just means that they would have to cut someone that they don't want to cut, and that's why they're trying to do their best to get some fringe guys in here. But you guys let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.